Hello and welcome to Just Vintage Crochet. You remember whenever I said I'm waiting for something to come in the mail for our next tutorial, and it came, but I have a surprise for you guys toward the end of the video. Here is what I found. So somebody, whenever I put up that big coat and I showed you guys the leg warmers that I made, that's on my It's Not Knit channel, and those are modern leg warmers. They're my own pattern. Someone said it would be really cool if you can get your hands on a vintage pattern for vintage leg warmers, something from the 80s or 90s. And that's what I did, but I found a complete unopened kit. This includes a pattern for knit and for crochet. So of course this pattern will be available. There'll be a link down below. I'm super excited about this. This is from 1982. Looks like someone bought it from Kmart a long time ago for $5.88, and then probably at some yard sale or something for $1. I picked it up for considerably more. Considerably more. And real quick, I wanted to mention I did get my hands on this little booklet here that has got 8 different leg warmers. Here, I'll show you a close-up. And this entire booklet, all 8 patterns, is available in the Etsy shop. You will find a link for this. So you're going to find 2 links down below, one for the kit and for the pattern of the kit, I mean, not the full kit, just the pattern, which will include the crochet and the knit. And then you will also see a link in the description box down below for the 8-piece leg warmer pattern booklet. Okay, here's a really quick, another really quick. These are really super duper cute. I love them all. And there's a good chance I will get to making some of them on the channel, depending on how well this video does. If there is a high enough demand for leg warmers, I'm going to dive into some of these. If this video doesn't do so well, meaning people aren't that interested in, excuse me, people aren't that interested in leg warmers, then I don't know if I'm going to invest the time into making any of these for tutorial. Okay, so but the patterns will be available and they're very easy to follow. So let's get into the pattern for today's leg warmers. Let's get right into it. Oh, this thing hasn't been opened not even once in, what is it, 42 years? 82? Yeah, 42 years. Oh my goodness, that's almost 41 years. Is it 41 years? I'm 43 and I was born in 1980, so 41 years. There we go. Oh, look at all those price tags on there. There it is. It's a little yellow. The coloring, it might not be showing on the camera, but it is. Maybe if I bunch it up, you can see it's a little yellow. So it's old. And here is, well, it's a lot softer than I thought it was going to be, because I know yarn back then, this type of yarn back then was rough. But this is Karen, so it's not Red Heart. I know Red Heart was king of the rough yarns. Still kind of is sometimes. Unless you get like With Love and stuff like that. There we go. That's apparently all we need for 2 of these leg warmers. Look at that color. Okay, Karen, bring this back. Look at that color. Oh my goodness, this smells really old. It smells like a damp basement. Okay, surprisingly, this one is a little rougher than this one. So the dyeing process softened this one. And look at the different sizes. That's, here, let me move the box so it's easier for you to see what I'm talking about. Look at the different sizes. I don't know if the weights are the same. Let me look here. Okay, what do we need? Color key, Bone and Spice. So this is Bone and Spice. Okay. The kit contains sufficient yarn to make 1 pair of leg warmers in either the crocheted or knitted version. If the directions are carefully and accurately followed, this really smells, by the way. This is almost burning my nose a little bit. It is important to achieve and maintain the gauge. I may spray this down with some Lysol. It smells musky, almost mildewy, but not like mildew, just like a damp basement. Okay, to maintain the gauge specified in the instructions, if you have too many stitches per inch, or use a larger hook size or needle if you have too few stitches per inch. So we're using a J hook. Okay. I will say that from the photo, the band is not my favorite. I definitely prefer this type of banding. So the band is not exactly my favorite. And I would say if you follow this pattern, you can probably just make whichever cuff you prefer. I prefer a cuff that looks more like this. Okay, so I went ahead and started this because I'm gonna tweak this original pattern just a little bit, but I wanted to be fair to the pattern and show you guys how it's worked, how it was intended to be worked. So to start off, you're going to chain 34 chains using your J 6mm hook. So chain 34, and then in the second chain from the hook, start working single crochets. It wants you to work a total of 12 rows of single crochet. That's going to equal, from what I have worked, about 9 inches wide or long and 3-inch wide cuff. Now I'm going to redo this in a ribbed cuff. I think it will look a little bit nicer. At least that's my personal preference. Okay, here is how the single crochet cuff is going to look. It's not bad, but it's not my personal preference, and I do intend to wear these. Like, I'm not just making these just for the sake of this channel. I actually intend to wear these. So this is how the cuff starts. Now, they say that when you get to the last stitch of the 12th row, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, but grab color B, which is going to be the variegated yarn, and complete your stitch with color B, as now we're going to get into the stitch pattern. Okay, and so that's how you're going to do that. So I will be right back. I'm going to undo all of this. Again, that is start off with 34 stitches in 34 chains. In the second chain from the hook, work single crochets where you have 33 single crochets worked, and work a total of 12 rows of single crochet, completing your last stitch on your 12th row with the variegated. I'll be right back. I'm going to figure out what we need to do to reach the same measurements for ribbed. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, which will be outside of the pattern again, just because I prefer the way that it looks with the ribbing. So let's go ahead and make a nice long tail. We're going to chain 13. We are looking for a 3-inch wide band. So let's chain 13, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so with our 13 chains, I highly recommend that you work in the back bumps, because whenever we go to seam this together, having this portion here to work into is going to create a really pretty seam. So working in the second chain from the hook, and I will be working yarn under on the calf portion of the ribbing. This is the calf portion, so we're going to be working this calf down to the foot. And the reason I recommend this is because it's going to create nice, pretty, tight ribbing that's going to look really, really nice, and it's going to hold a little firmer around the leg. But when we get down to the boot portion cuff, or the foot portion, the foot cuff portion, we're going to work like this, the yarn over for nice looser stitches. We want these stitches to be tight because we want a good grip around the leg. Also, in my opinion, I find that creating a ribbing with yarn under creates a prettier, more defined ribbing. Just does. Okay. I think I created a normal stitch there. You can really see the difference between yarning under and yarning over. because this one here is a regular stitch and you can really see that difference. But here's how we're going to move up to the next row. Chain 1 and turn, and into the first stitch, work the full stitch. Of course, I'm going to yarn under. Now, for the next 10 stitches, work back loop only. When you get to the last stitch, work the full stitch again, going through both loops. Just like that. Then you're going to chain 1, turn, again, work through both loops for your first stitch and your last stitch of every row of the ribbing, and then work back loop only in the 10 stitches between. So in the pattern, they call for us to have 33 stitches across the cuffs. So we're going to go ahead and work 33 rows of ribbing. So keep doing this over and over until you have 33 total rows. There we go. Work through both loops on the last. Chain 1, turn, work through both loops, and then back loop only. So come on back whenever you have finished 33 rows, but don't finish your last stitch. Leave your last stitch unworked of your 33rd row because we are going to change color. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, so now I have my 33 rows of ribbing made. And I am to the point of my last stitch. This is where we're going to change color. Apparently I have a little hair there. Okay, so you need to go. All right, so working in both loops of the last stitch, I pull up a loop and then I change color. I'm gonna finish this last stitch with the new color. Just like that. Okay, pull this down the front. Now let's chain 1. So keep your solid color down. Don't work in the end. I'm going to go ahead and work in this end, but we're going to, when we come down this way and back up again, we're going to pick up this color and use it again. So don't cut these, just carry them along the way. So here we go. Into our very first stitch that our chain 1 is coming out of, we're going to work 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet into the same stitch. There we go. Now we're going to skip 1 stitch, which is going to work like this. The protruding ridge is the stitch we're going to skip. We will be working into all of the stitches where the little valleys are, where the ridging comes out this way. So you see the little dent ends at the top right here. That's the stitch we're going to work into. We're going to skip all of these and we're going to work into all of these. So, nope, we're going to work a single. So skipping the next stitch, which is right here, the ridge, that's the next stitch, skipping that and into the next stitch over, we repeat 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet. Skip the next stitch, which is this stitch right here, and into the next stitch over, 1 single and 1 double into the same. Skip the next stitch and into the next stitch over, 1 single, 1 double. See why working in the full stitch on the ends really truly helps. It changes, it absolutely changes the game whenever it comes to working into ribbing. You can see all of your stitches so perfectly well. Okay, so you're just going to continue to do this all the way to the end. Skip the next stitch and in the next stitch over, work a single and a double crochet into the same stitch. Skip, next stitch over, single, double crochet. I will meet back up with you when we get down to the end. Okay, We have worked our way over. This is our second to last stitch. It's on a ridge. We skip, and in the last stitch, we just do the same. A single crochet and then a double crochet. Now chain 1, turn, and we're going to skip, and this is going to be the same for every row. Skip the double crochet and into the single, work a single crochet plus double crochet. I found it to be absolutely necessary, because I did already play with this pattern a little bit. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. I found it to be absolutely necessary to mark that first single crochet, because on your way back it could get lost, and this portion right here, it could get really confusing as to what is the next stitch you work into. So I would mark the single crochets on both ends. So let me get another stitch marker here, and I would do this for every single row. But this pattern is essentially a 1-row repeat. So now we're going to skip the next stitch, which is the double crochet. We will only work in the single crochets all the way on from one end to the next on all the rows. So working into the single crochet, you work a single and then a double. Skip the next double crochet, and in the single crochet, you work a single and a double. Skip the double and into the single, gets a single and a double. So let's work our way all the way to the end. Skip and in the single. There we go. I will meet back up with you when we get down to the other end. Okay, reaching the other end, we're going to change color again. I can clearly see that these are my last 2 stitches, so that's fine. I didn't need the stitch marker just then, but I'm going to for the rest of the pattern. So here is my last double and my last single. So we just repeat, work a single, and then work a double crochet, but don't complete your double crochet. We'll pull it forward, and then grab your solid color and pull it on up. And these are going to be hidden. Whenever we sew everything together, you're not going to see any of these, okay? And I'm going to show you, because I did already work one. I wanted to make sure that everything I did was going to be correct, since I was changing the cuff. So this is how it turns out. Here is the seam right here that we are working. Let me turn it inside out. And as you can see, you can't see where I worked I pulled the yarn up on each row, every other row actually. And you'll also notice that these aren't as long as they are in the picture. Again, I'm not just making these for the sake of the video. I intend to wear these, and I don't wear knee-high leg warmers. I wear them, I like them to be about calf high, and then I scrunch them down a little bit and I wear them over boots with leggings. So they're not for exercise for me. They are a fashion accessory, so I don't wear them as long. So I will explain how many rows I worked and all of that. So first I'll tell you what they call for. And this is basically a 1-row repeat where you change the color every 2 rows. So you're going to work 2 rows of your variegated, and then 2 rows with the solid, and then 2 rows with the variegated, alternating back and forth. Now, in the pattern, they call for you to do this for 36 rows, this body portion for 36 rows. I did mine for a total of 18, which allowed me to start with variegated and end with variegated. And whenever we are ready to work the cuff, I will explain how they want you to do it. It's very easy, and then I will show you how I did it. Okay, so let's just keep going. We have now, let me redo this since I sort of stopped in the middle there. We're going to complete this last double crochet with the solid color yarn, chain 1 and turn. Make sure that you leave your variegated hanging down so that you can grab it again. And we're going to skip the first double crochet again and into the first single crochet over, work a single crochet. I'm going to mark it right away so that it doesn't get lost on me at all, because it did at first. And then work a double crochet into the same stitch. Skip the next double and into the next single. Repeat. Single crochet, double crochet. Okay. And then we repeat again. Skip the next double or skip the next stitch over and into the next stitch after that, which will be your single. Work a single and a double. It's a very easy stitch repeat, and it's a very easy pattern, really. So if you want to make them like mine, let me give you the measurement of mine. And of course, I will show you how these look paired with an outfit at the end of the video. These turned out to be just about 12 inches, just a hair over a foot long. And for me, that's plenty, because again, these I don't do aerobics and all that, so these aren't necessarily for exercise with me. They are going to be a fashion accessory. So what you're going to do now is work this solid color for 2 rows. You're always going to color change at the same side. So you're going to go this way, chain 1, skip the first double crochet and into this first single crochet, work your stitch repeat, work it all the way back. When you get back here, you're going to complete your last double crochet with the variegated. Then you will do 2 rows of the variegated the same way, and then change color with the solid and work 2 rows of the solid the same way. Keep working this for as many rows as you personally want. You don't have to follow what I did. You don't have to follow the pattern. We're allowed to be creative with these things, even if it is vintage. We don't have to follow the pattern verbatim and be purists about it. We can still be creative and do our own thing and make it work for us. You know what I mean? So work as many rows as you want, and then come on back and I will show you how we do the boot cuff portion. Okay, first I will explain how they want the boot cuff portion done. It's very, very simple. Then I will show you how I did it. I will be right back whenever I have my 18 rows worked. So I forgot to mention, I just jumped right into showing how to do the ribbing boot cuff, and I forgot to mention how the pattern wants you to do the ribbing of the boot cuff. It's exactly how you did this one. You're just going to work 33 single crochet back and forth for 12 rows, and then cut and weave in that end, or you can cut a very long tail and use a darning needle to sew the 2 halves together. Which of course, when I'm done with the ribbing boot cuff, we're gonna sew these together, together. So we're gonna all together sew them together, but the pattern calls for 12 rows of 33 single crochet all the way up. And then that's it for the pattern boot cuff. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is the end of my 18th row. Here, I'm going to work the last stitch with you and then show you how we're going to do the boot cuff portion. I will be leaving this stitch marker on, that way as I work my way down, I won't get my last stitch confused with anything, even though it clearly looks like my last stitch. I just sometimes don't trust my own eyes. Okay, so going to work my last stitch repeat, single crochet, double crochet, but as usual, I'm going to finish with the solid color, because we want the boot cut to be in the solid color. Pull that up. Okay, we can get rid of this. Now I'm going to, let's tighten all this up. Well, let me redo that last stitch. It seemed a little loose. I wanted it a little tighter than that. There. Okay. Chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I will be working in the back bumps, and we're going to work now along this portion of the leg warmer. So starting in the second chain from the hook, work our single crochets. Now this time I am going to yarn over instead of under because I don't want these stitches to be tight as they're going to go over my boots. So I want them to have a little more flexibility. So I'm going to work them as such, yarning over. I'll be right back. Okay, last 2 stitches left. And then right there at the base. Okay. Now we have the stitch that we are currently attached onto, the double crochet. We're not going to work into that because we already have. That's what we chained our 13 chains out of. So the single crochet and the double crochet over, we're going to slip stitch into each of those. So there is 1 and there is 2. Turn your work without chaining, turn your work and count those 2 slip stitches down. We're going to skip those, and here is our first stitch. And just like we did down here, we're going to work the full stitch with the first and the last. So there's 1, then back loop only, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then finally the last stitch we work through both loops, and that is 12. Chain 1, turn, working through both loops on the first stitch, and then back loop only all the way up to the base. Let me get rid of this because it's tangling up with me a little bit. There we go. Okay, coming up to the end, I've got 2 stitches left. There, and then the full stitch on the very last. And once again, we can see this is the stitch that we just worked into. So now the next single and double is what we're going to slip stitch into. Slip stitch, the next stitch over, slip stitch. Without chaining, we turn, we skip the 2 slip stitches we made, and into the first stitch we work our single crochet, then back loop only, all the way to the end where we will once again work through both loops. I'll be right back. Okay, work through both loops on the last stitch, chain 1 and turn, and you can see what it is we're doing. We're working our way across, and here is the other side. We don't really have to worry about keeping track of these rows. It's gonna wind up being 33 rows. So we go into the first stitch, back loop only until the last stitch, 2 stitches left, full stitch on the last, and this is the stitch that we are currently attached to. So now we're going to work in the next 2 stitches above this one. So that would be the single crochet. I guess I have to finish this stitch, don't I? So the single crochet, we work a slip stitch, and then the double crochet, we work a slip stitch. Without chaining, we turn, we skip the 2 slip stitches we just made, and the third. So we're going to skip, skip, and what looks like the 3rd stitch over, that's what we work into. So keep repeating this all the way till you get close to the end. I will come back and we will work the end together. Then we will sew it up together, and then that's it. Then I have a little surprise for you guys. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, let's finish this cuff up together. I now have 3 stitches left to work into. I just got done working my way back down this way. So, as usual, we're going to slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. Turn. Go ahead and work your ribbing this way, chain 1, and come back up this way. Come on back whenever you have made your way back to the base of the cuff. So there we go. I will be right back. Okay, worked my way back up. Now I just have 1 stitch left to work in, and we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into this last stitch on the end. Turn, and we're going to work 1 more row up, and that's right where we need to end so that we can join it and seam it from the very top down. So just go ahead and work 1 more row of the ribbing, and you only have 1 slip stitch to skip now. So let's work our way up to the end, and then we will join this and we will be done. Okay, worked my way up to the end. Now, I made a mistake with my first boot cuff, or here it is. I made a mistake with my first one, so learn from me, learn from my mistakes. You can see right here that this, all of this right here, this is supposed to be the inside of the leg warmer, but I accidentally seamed it to where the inside is on the out. You can see those joins. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is right side out, you see? So that's my mistake. And you can see we have those same join stitches right here. So just make sure that as you seam it, this part is on the outside because we're going to turn it right side out. So that's going to put your work on this side on your side. So all you have to do is pull up a little loop like this. Turn, go into your very first stitch on this side and pull that loop through. Very easy. Chain 1 and then go back into that same stitch and go back into this first stitch for your first. We're going to do a single crochet join, but you can do any kind of join you want. And there we go. And we're just going to match stitch for stitch. When you get to this portion here, it's not too difficult. Just try to keep the stitches even and not spaced too far apart, or else you will cause it to do. If you space them too far apart in this portion, it will buckle in like this. So try to keep them evenly spaced, but not too far apart. But we're just going to match stitch for stitch over here. And now you can see the benefit of working through the back bump on our very first starting chain, because now we have what looks like 2 regular stitch tops. It's very easy to work into, very easy to identify. There we go. I'm going to work my way across the cuff, and I'll be back and we can work some of this together. Let's work some of this portion together. I am going to weave this end in as I go. So there's no, for sure space to work into. Just try to make sure that it's even and not spaced too far apart. That's pretty much it. There you go. Okay, so continue to work this way all the way to the end. I will be back when we get all the way to the end, but before I go, I want to share something with you guys. I don't want to save this for the very last portion of the video in case there's people who just skip to the end of the video and then they'll benefit from the surprise without putting in the work, so to speak, of watching. Okay. I got my hands on another unopened, brand new pattern, and I'm going to give it away. I want to give this one away to one of you, and I'm going to have a couple more giveaways this month. And I'm not becoming a giveaway channel. It's just whenever I was on the hunt for a pattern, I came upon the kit, which is the one I'm working on now. Then I found this one, and then I found a couple more kits that I really, really liked. So there's going to be a couple more giveaways this month, but no, I'm not becoming a giveaway channel. I'm not becoming a channel that's just fishing for subscribes and all that. You know, I prefer to earn my subscribers the legitimate and organic way. But I do want to give this one away to one of you. Now, as we know from the last giveaway, you know, I can't afford to ship worldwide. I realize this is going to upset some people, and I am very, very sorry. It's not personal. I'm not picking on anybody at all. In fact, that's why doing a giveaway is so uncomfortable for me, because I have to exclude so many people, and it feels wrong and it feels unfair. But unfortunately, I simply cannot afford the cost of shipping, the duties, the fees, the taxes, the VAT taxes. I can't afford all of that. It would wind up costing twice as much as what I paid for the pattern or for the kit itself. And I just simply can't afford that. I am so sorry. And I can't afford to ship to Alaska or Hawaii either. Just the continental United States. I really, really, truly hope that you all understand. So it would be nice for a subscribe, and it would be nice for a like. Mostly what I need you to do is comment, because that's the only way I can find you and let you know that you're the winner. I will not let you know that you're the winner in the comment section. I will not comment to you that you have won. I will only announce winners in a video. I also am paying for the shipping, so I will not reach out to you and say, hey, Cash App me the cost of the shipping. Those are scammers. Anybody that reaches out to you with my channel name, my channel image, and says, you won, click this link to whatever. Don't click the link. It's a scam. It's not me. I'm not going to tell you that you won in the comments, only in a video. So, yes, comment. If you do like the video, then please give it a like. And if you do like what I have on this channel, then please subscribe. But those are not requirements to win. All I need you to do is comment so that I can use the YouTube random comment picker and find your name. And whenever I do announce that you have won, all you have to do is go to the description box of the video where I'm going to announce the winner. And there you will find an email address. Just email me your details and I will get this right out to you so that you can make your very own. And if you make them as small as I'm making them, guess what? You're going to have enough of this variegated yarn left over to make a matching headband or some matching fingerless gloves. There is plenty. Look at this. This is how much is left over. I really didn't use that much at all. So there's enough here for fingerless gloves, a headband, or even all three, so you can have a full set. Isn't that nice? But look. That's how much is left over from this one. So, sorry, I don't mean to keep bumping you. Okay, so yes, we are having a giveaway on this exact kit and a couple more throughout the month of November. So look out for that. Let's move on to the rest of the video and a reveal at the end. Okay, so finished working the seam all the way up. Weaved in my ends, and there we go. That is the seam right there. Now, how I determine which is the top and which is the bottom, for some reason, the boot cuff portion looks a little longer than the calf cuff portion. Maybe you can see that. Here, I'll put these. This is the boot cuff on both, but here, can you see what I mean? For some reason, the boot cuff portion, well, you can't see, turned out to be a slightly longer than the calf cuff, which is fine. This is going to go over a boot anyways. So that's how I can determine, here, this one's a little low. There we go. That's how I determine which is the top and which is the bottom. So there is that sort of happy accident, I suppose. But these are done. Now I'm going to go and get dressed and show you how they look put together with an outfit.